Mark Hayes had never believed that a single moment could change the course of someone's life, until the Sunday morning he walked into Riverside Park with his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. The sky was warm, the air soft, and for the first time in months, Mark felt like he might finally breathe without grief tightening his chest. Losing his wife Emma had broken him in ways he didn't know how to describe, and raising Lily alone was a journey he was still fumbling through. Every day he tried, braiding her hair unevenly, packing lunches that were too big or too small, learning to smile again without feeling guilty. That morning was supposed to be simple. Ordinary. Ducks, sunshine, maybe ice cream afterward. But life had its own plans. Before they reached the pond, Lily tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, those boys look sad." Mark followed her gaze and froze. Under the shade of a tall oak tree stood 2 boys. Twins, maybe 8 years old, moving their hands rapidly in a silent language he hadn't seen in years. They weren't crying, but their faces carried disappointment that felt heavier than tears. They kept glancing at people walking by, hopeful, searching, and each time, the hope dimmed when they were ignored. Dozens of people walked past without even looking at them. Mark felt something inside him ache. He knelt beside Lily and whispered, "I think they're deaf." Lily blinked, puzzled. "What does that mean?" Mark explained gently, "It means they can't hear the world like we do. They speak with their hands." Lily frowned, then asked the question that would burn into Mark's heart forever. "Then why is nobody talking back?" He had no answer, just a wave of shame that he too had walked past people who needed nothing more than kindness. Mark remembered how Emma used to volunteer at a deaf school. He remembered her practicing simple signs at their kitchen table, her patience, the way she used to say, "You don't need to be fluent to show someone they matter." He hadn't signed in years, but he remembered one word. And so he took Lily's hand, walked toward the boys, and when they looked up, surprised, cautious, he smiled softly and signed, "Hello." The twins lit up instantly. One of them signed excitedly, "You know hands?" Mark laughed and admitted he only knew a little. They introduced themselves as Evan and Eli. Lily asked to learn how to sign their names, stumbling adorably until the boys giggled without sound. For a moment, they were just kids. Happy, curious, seen. But something felt off. The boys kept looking toward the parking lot. Their shoulders tensed every few minutes. Fear flickered in their eyes each time someone walked by. When Mark asked where their parents were, the boys pointed to a woman by a minivan, scrolling through her phone with no concern. When she finally noticed Mark signing with the twins, she marched over briskly. She introduced herself as their foster guardian and immediately complained about how impossible the boys were. "They don't listen, they don't talk, they wander off. I swear, the next placement can't come fast enough." The twins shrank at her words. Their heads lowered. Mark felt heat rise up his neck. "They do talk," he said firmly. "Just not with sound." She rolled her eyes, grabbed their arms, and dragged them away. Lily whispered sadly, "Daddy." They looked scared. The next morning, while dropping Lily at school, Mark unexpectedly found Evan and Eli again, sitting on a bench outside the office. They looked smaller than yesterday, as if someone had shrunk their world overnight. Their faces lit up when they saw him. Eli signed shakily, "Help." Mark felt a jolt of fear. "What's wrong?" he signed. Evan hesitated, then signed, "She punishes us if we sign." Mark felt sick. "How?" he asked gently. Evan mimed having his hands slapped. Eli mimicked having his wrists grabbed tightly. Mark went straight to the school counselor, demanding they investigate. The counselor sighed and said they had concerns too, but no proof. "Our hands are tied." Mark clenched his jaw. "Then I'll get proof." He did something he never expected. He volunteered at the school as a part-time sign language assistant. He wasn't fluent, but he threw himself into learning. Every night he practiced until his hands ached. Within weeks, he could hold full conversations. The twins began opening up to him. Their personalities bloomed. Evan loved drawing intricate stories with crayons. Eli loved telling jokes through exaggerated expressions and dramatic gestures. They adored Lily, who learned signs just to communicate with them. For the first time in years, Mark's home felt alive again, not with noise, but with warmth. Silent laughter. The kind that healed him. One afternoon, when he asked more about their past, the twins revealed something heartbreaking. They once had a biological mother who loved them deeply. She had fought to keep them safe from an abusive man, but circumstances forced her to give them up temporarily. She tried to come back, Evan signed quietly. But they said she left. Mark felt cold. There was more to the story, something buried in paperwork and systems that failed them. As the weeks passed, Mark saw more signs of neglect from the foster guardian. New bruises, sleeplessness, anxiety. The twins began clinging to him more. Eventually, the school installed hidden cameras in the classroom after Mark's reports. What they caught confirmed everything. The foster guardian had been grabbing, yanking, isolating, and belittling the twins repeatedly. Social services removed Evan and Eli from her care. The boys were terrified, crying silently as they were escorted out. Mark held their hands until the last moment, promising he'd check on them. But he didn't know how deeply they had carved themselves into his heart, until the day the social worker asked him a question that sent his world spinning. "Mr. Hayes, would you consider becoming their foster placement?" Mark felt his chest tighten. He thought of Emma, of Lily, of the empty rooms in his house, of the laughter, quiet but real, that had returned since the twins came into their lives. He thought of the look in the twins' eyes when he first signed, "Hello." He thought of how they had stitched themselves into the cracks of his broken heart without even trying. He said yes. The twins moved into Mark's home permanently. Lily became their unofficial translator, playmate, sister, and protector. Their lives filled with routines, homework at the table, inside jokes in sign language, bedtime stories told with hand shadows on the wall. Slowly, the twins started healing. Their nightmares faded. Their eyes brightened. Their happiest moment came months later when the social worker brought them a letter, written by their biological mother. She had been searching for them for years. She hadn't abandoned them. She had been kept away by paperwork, bureaucracy, and lies from the man she escaped. She wanted to see them again. Mark made sure she did. Their reunion was emotional, raw and heart-splitting. But after talking for hours, she looked at Mark with teary eyes and said, "They feel safe here. They love you. If you're willing, they want you to be their dad." Mark broke down. Right there. And for the first time since losing Emma, his tears weren't from grief, but from gratitude. Years later, the story of the single dad who signed "Hello" to two ignored deaf twins became a testament to something simple yet extraordinary. Kindness is a language everyone understands. The twins grew confident, joyful, and proud of their identity. Mark learned that families are sometimes chosen in unexpected moments, like a walk in the park, a little girl's innocent question, and a single word spoken without sound. And from that one simple sign, "Hello," 3 lives were changed forever.